We used Google to search for the thriller genre websites so we could find out what was typical of the thriller genre. This was useful for our research because it showed us how to make ours more conventional. We also used our college intranet site to look at old students' opening title sequences and to look at information and links provided by our teacher. This showed us how our opening title sequence should look and gave us ideas on what we could do for our own. We used YouTube to look at famous thriller opening title sequences, which gave us ideas for our own film. We looked at the opening title sequence of Misery to help us plan our title order. The BBFC website helped us a lot with looking at film classification and who our target audience should be. We decided that our main audience is teenagers and it should be a 12A or 15.
We used a Sony HC7 camera to film both our preliminary exercises and our opening title sequence. We filmed inside the college when making our preliminary exercises, and the aim was to practice continuity editing. To get to grips with elements such as exposure, white balance, etc., we use the phrase "must wait before everything fails," which stands for manual, white balance, exposure, focus. This reminded us to keep checking these throughout our filming stage. We filmed our opening title sequence in Hassocks as we needed to use a bedroom for our shrine scenes. Before we started recording each shot, we ensured that they were framed correctly and effectively to fit with the thriller genre. For the majority of our filming, the opening title sequence, we just used the sound recorded in camera. However, on a couple of shots, for example Louis' line "I love you" and Ellie's reaction, we used a boom mic to record the sound more clearly. We used the website in Computech to find the non-diegetic sound we'd read throughout. The website DAFont was very useful for finding our title fonts, and we eventually decided on a font with serifs and Burmore as their harsh, horror-esque appearance reflect the dark tone of our film.
I used Adobe Premiere to edit our opening title sequence. With this software I used a number of transitions, effects and tools to create a typical atmosphere of a thriller film. Firstly, I used fade-ins and fade-outs in the opening two titles, which were distribution company and production company. Doing this built up the atmosphere right at the start of the opening title sequence. I also used sound effects to make the two pieces of dialogue echo. Through doing this, the voices sounded distorted and surreal, and gave the effect of echoing. This is typical in thriller films.
I love you.
Also, with Adobe, I was able to layer two shots over each other, creating a single scene. Doing this meant the viewer could understand more about the scene. It also linked key themes together. Finally, I used editing tools in Adobe to create an editing point for our opening title sequence. I used a certain shot, which was out of focus candles, which was used to transition two scenes. This also created atmosphere and tension throughout the opening title sequence.